Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Empower Hour. And today I am here with David Cohen, and we are going to be unlocking a full business and personal life using the SWIFT method. So, we are going to explore personal and business transformation with David, and he is the co author of Live Life Swift. With over 20 years of experience, David has helped thousands achieve passion and purpose and peace through his Swift method. Learn how to make small, impactful changes in the key areas of your life. David hosts the 26 Minutes with, runs your big venture for youth entrepreneurs, and is launching a new learning programs. Tune in for real life stories, expert advice, and actionable steps to move towards a more abundant life. So, welcome, David.
Thanks, Lee.
Yeah, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you mentioned in your intro notes to me that this came from all that we went through during the pandemic. So, after you introduce yourself, maybe you can just tell us how the SWIFT formula was inspired by the pandemic.
Actually, the Swift method was actually inspired about 22 years ago.
Oh,
I was sitting down to write a newsletter that I was doing back then for my clients. And it was a Saturday morning, I remember. And I'm going, what the heck am I going to write about this month, right? And it doesn't, the ideas don't always flow,
mhm.
right? But I got this idea to do talk about Swift, which is I love acronyms personally.
Mhm.
Like I love creating them. I find it really kind of entertaining to do. And I came up with this acronym called SWIFT, which stood for social, work or business, inner, financial, and taking care of. So that was about 22 years ago. And I designed this chart where back then we would use post-it notes. And
Mhm.
what you would do is you would set your goals for the month under each category. So your social goals, your work or business, your inner, your financial. Inner is like learning, meditation, prayer, reading.
Mhm.
Financial, taking care of is your health and your family, and then a big dream section. So each month, I would encourage people to write their goals on a post-it note and pop them onto the chart. And then once the goal was complete, let's say, one of the social goals was go have coffee with Lee and get caught up. Well, once we had accomplished that, I would take that goal off, remove the post note and put a new goal on for next month. And so I've had this idea, for years, and I've shared it with a few people, but I never really took it anywhere. I wrote about it in my last business book, which is back in 2019. But during, I guess, 2 years into the pandemic, my colleague Danny and I, who I used to work with, and we're great friends and good colleagues, I said, Danny, would you be open to co-writing this book? And she knew about Swift because we had worked together and she'd seen it before. And yeah, we just embarked on writing this book. 2 years into it, we're almost done. It's being formatted. It should be out on Amazon, we hope, by the beginning of October. And really, so how did the pandemic sort of come into play? It's kind of like, I think we all learned that life is shorter than we think, and right, and things can change in a minute, right? All of a sudden, here we are. We're going to work. March 10th, March 11th, everything was shut down, right? Or 12th. And yeah, so we just thought, you know what, now's the time to just go for it. And yeah, we've done writing and editing the book. Now it's just being formatted. And there's a chart. Our new chart is a PDF. So we're saving paper, and it's an interactive PDF. And the book is a beautiful share of stories and how it works, and quoting other experts in the area of personal growth and development and goal setting and creating really good habits for yourself. And that's how it all came to be. But I think you just get to a point in life, it's like, yeah, I'm sitting on this and I've never done anything. Now is the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the pandemic told us that if we have something that we want to achieve in life, it's important to not put it off. And it sounds like your Swift methodology probably helped you to take action on that book.
Yeah.
So congratulations to you and Danny. That's
Thanks.
that's amazing.
Yeah, we're pretty excited. And, we're also developing on LinkedIn. We have a group page for it. Each month we have a gathering, pay what you can, where you can come on Zoom with us. And it's called First Wednesdays, and you can create your own Swift chart in a beautiful informal group. It's like a mastermind setting. And then we have themes to the events. And so we have a group. We also have learning programs to support the book as well. So and the technology. So it's really very cool, and more to come. Like
Yes.
apps down the road and audiobooks and yeah, all that fun.
Well, I think that it's something that we all crave, finding meaning and a greater sense of ease in our personal and our business lives. And they're so interconnected, right?
Yeah,
And if one is out of alignment, the other one is not going to work. And we need to function well in our personal lives and our business lives. We need to make money, we need to give back, we need to support our families, but we also need to take time for self-care and to find that everyone laughs and rolls their eyes when we say that balance, but there's got to be something to finding balance. Otherwise you're just going to be running on empty all the time, and
yeah,
and that's good. That's not
yeah. And you're right, like, because you can't fill somebody else's cup if yours is empty. So um,
exactly.
you've got to take care of yourself, and that's why we have a taking care of section,
Hmm.
which is yourself, but also your family, right? Which is really
Hmm.
important, or the relationships that are important to you. And then the inner is like meditating, prayer, reading, learning, nurturing your soul, and we need to bring our complete selves to the table in
Hmm.
our businesses now. It's no longer like I'm going to outthink and outsmart everybody. It's you've got to be connected with your heart, your soul, and your mind, and then take action.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you remember this, David, but we had some pretty amazing heart-to-heart discussions about spirituality and what keeps us running. And I'll never forget those conversations. I think we both surprised each other in the depth of our spiritual minds and how we use it to connect with others in a more meaningful way.
Yeah, and I think with you too, Lee. What I appreciate about you is that you've gone through the depths or the dark night of the souls, and and now you're on the other side of that, and so you're empowering and inspiring other women to move forward too. I still remember where we met too. It was at a Enterprise Toronto, now called the Small
Yes.
Business Enterprise Center Toronto.
Mhm.
Through Roger Pierce introduced us. He said, "You got to meet this woman."
Yes, that's right. And I've had Roger on the podcast, and we had such a great conversation about finding out whether or not you're truly meant for entrepreneurship, because some people aren't, and so trying to make that to make that leap can be overwhelming, and really kind of knowing where to start. So Roger was my first mentor, and he's introduced me to some incredible change makers like yourself. And so today I'm supporting both women and men change makers who really believe that we're put on this earth to be the best version of ourselves and to be the change within ourselves and in the world. So, and I definitely admire you for that. You
Thank
definitely embody those qualities. So you, I was reading your bio, and it was so interesting. And you have over 20 years of coaching experience. You have worked with countless entrepreneurs and startups. You even mentioned that you interviewed Michael Gerber, who wrote one of the Bibles of entrepreneurship. The late Stephen Covey. What did you learn from some of these incredible leaders?
Michael Gerber was fascinating. He was totally on topic about the book and the concept of the E-myth, which is working on your business, not in it.
Hmm.
He was a very interesting interview. I had him twice as a guest, and I had all my questions prepared, and and I think I got through one question, and a half hour later, like he went on. He would just like he was an amazing mind. That's what really impressed me. But he was really true to topic about working on it and on your business and creating systems and processes that work so you don't have to, right?
Exactly.
And then Dr. Stephen Covey, that was a 15-minute interview, and that's how he worked. He said, I'm going to be available this day if you're in the media. Here's my book. The book was about the speed of trust. And so we did a 15-minute interview, and just like he is, that you would see him in video back when he was alive, or hear him in interviews, or on different podcasts or things of that nature.
Hmm.
Totally class act, just a true gentleman, a brilliant mind, really together. He lived life swift because he had his, he actually passed away riding a bicycle. Like he's in his 70s, and he had a bit of an accident on the bike, and I think he hit his head.
Oh
That
no.
caused some sort of disruption. So
Mhm.
here he is. He's still active in his 70s. He's a prolific speaker, a wonderful teacher, owner of a wonderful learning company, an author, and just a common sense. He had a common sense approach to things.
Mm.
That book, actually, to this day, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, the other
Mhm.
book he wrote,
Mhm.
that's still relevant. So I just found these men really fascinating. They were true to themselves, and they were real leaders, and yet they were down to earth and easy to be with.
Well, I'm sure that those interviews. Do you have access to those interviews? Maybe we can include them in our show notes.
It's been so long. I'd have to look.
All right. Well, we'll see if you can find them. We'll definitely share them, because that would be certainly really interesting to take in. So tell me about your work with youth. So that seems to be a big focus of you work with people that are getting close to graduating from high school and into
No,
college.
no, it's actually more that they're starting a business. Like they're 19 to
Okay.
35. They're looking at entrepreneurship. And
Right.
matter of fact, reports came out this week or last week that youth unemployment rose quite substantially. And
Mm.
so, as an alternative, entrepreneurship would be an option.
Hmm.
And I've taught youth. Like I work with different nonprofit organizations. Like
Hmm.
next week or 2 weeks, I'm teaching with Youth Employment Services with Yes. And then I've just finished a contract in August working with summer company students. These are, high school, university students that take a entrepreneur training program to help them start a summer business, and they
Hmm.
get a grant from the province for taking it. So I was mentoring and coaching them, and that was wonderful work. So I really find joy in inspiring youth to be the next leaders. And so I'm creating a membership site with content and programming geared to youth, so they have a community and they get the proper learning. Because I feel that even though there are some entrepreneur training programs,
Hmm.
they don't talk about confidence. They don't talk about self-limiting beliefs or self-esteem, or how to sell, how do you even approach somebody, how to have a conversation, how
Mhm.
to be confident in your ability. So they're not teaching that, and that's what I really want to focus on, is to inspire youth, to give them the soft skills to be future leaders. And
That's great.
yeah.
That's so important, and I know we're going to chat about how I've kind of evolved in my career since we last chatted before the pandemic, and so now I'm teaching at York University. I teach international students, so I can give you a little bit of an overview on what I'm doing live on the air. Only because I want to plug the fact that you're coming to my to be a part of our learning and our business in the digital age course at York. So we're so lucky to have you,
Yeah.
and I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. So following what I really did some soul searching around some of my Swift elements, my goals, and decided that after going on a volunteer trip to Costa Rica.
Oh
Uh,
my.
yeah, I went on a volunteer trip, helping to build a women's collective for like a food storage for these women who had lost husbands or were no longer with spouses and needed to support themselves in a traditionally male dominated culture in the rainforests of Costa Rica. And so their children were around in the outdoors while we were building the digging trenches and building a space for these women to store all of their cooking supplies. And their children just inspired me so much, and were interested in my camera equipment and just seemed to have such a zest for learning. And so when I came back from that trip, there was so this was a trip called You Go Travel for Change, and my good friend Jill Valentine and Nicole Horinko were leading this program, and they offer the participants on this program an opportunity to get coaching before the program, during the program, and afterwards. And I realized that I really wanted to give back and teach and share some of my life journey and the skills and some of the ways that I've built my confidence and built my ability to learn and grow into the classroom. And sort of like you, really try to approach it from, it's one thing to tell people facts, but it's another thing to give them the courage and the resilient mindset to be able to take what they learn and uh, to act on it. So yeah, I just never gave up. I started volunteering in on different advisory boards for colleges, and then that led me to be a guest speaker in a number of universities and colleges. And I just happened to meet the right person at the right time. Uh, that person introduced me to someone who was looking to fill a space at the University of Guelph Humber. Did a couple of courses teaching there, got my feet wet, so to speak. And then this opportunity, an ongoing opportunity at York, became available. And so this was so great for me because my work in DEI, I really wanted to get more experience working with international students, newcomers. And so it's been just a fabulous experience helping. Majority of my students come from different countries, and so helping them to find their footing in the country. And I'm sure you work with a lot of new Canadians throughout your experience, your 20 years of experience.
Yeah.
Know how hard it is to get to your footing in a new country.
Yeah. I just had a meeting before we went to air, at one with a colleague who's from Britain,
Mm.
but he's a newcomer.
Hmm.
And he finds it challenging to get work. He had an interview with a credit union based out west. He got to the final stage, and the I guess the objection was no Canadian experience, and it's like, dude, tell them that you have international experience and tons of experience in a market that's similar to Canada, Britain, the UK, right?
Yeah.
And if you want somebody that's raring to go and can bring that to the table, what's holding you back? But that was they actually he didn't even get to that stage, but they just simply in the interviews and then evaluation, that's what they came back with. So he was refused. And he's British. I mean, you know,
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. Um, and I mean, and we should just point out just that at least in Ontario, there's a law now in effect that it is no longer legal to ask for Canadian experience. So, I hope that and it's funny, and the same thing with salary disclosure to in order to uh, help newcomers and those that have been traditionally marginalized in salary earning potential. It's where a law is coming. It still needs to pass full ascension, but we are at the stage now where companies should be preparing for how they approach interviews with new Canadians and people in general, just not asking for Canadian experience. And please, people out there, start to provide salary bands. Let's stop wasting our time. So it's just unfortunate that we still are living in a day and age where we're using such outdated practices in employment. So it's great that you shared that story, and I'm sure that everybody has one out there around unethical practices in helping people to get ahead in the workplace. That's probably why a lot of people switch to entrepreneurship. They just get sick of dealing with the bureaucracy and these really sort of racist and not very equitable practices. So let's dive into how can our listeners apply their how can they find the Swift philosophies to achieve personal and professional success? What are some low hanging fruit that they can start, say, now with
yeah.
methodology?
First of all, you have to create your monthly goals, right?
Mhm.
Remember, I said having a coffee with you, or going to the Blue Jay game with a friend, or those are your social goals. And
Mhm.
then your work or business goals. If you're working, what are your work goals? To maybe you've got to take a new training program to help advance your skill sets at work, or you want to volunteer on the health and safety committee at work. If it's a business goal, it could be, I want to get 2 to 3 new clients, or I want to um, build my website or redo it. So you set your goals, and then you're in there, as I said, those are kind of non-negotiables, like reading, learning. Like for me, that's like every day, or also meditation or prayer, that kind of thing. That's every day. Financial, that could be saving, earning more, buying a lucky lotto ticket, right? And then you've got your taking care of. So date night, family time with the kids, with your significant other, and of course, health and wellness. And then you've got your big dream section. So I'm going to share a day I had many years ago, and it made the book because it really stood out. And I've had others since. And it was a day where I was teaching at the time in Whitby with a self-employment benefit program, kind of what you're doing, but for adults, of any age, sex, or background. And it was
Right.
an Ontario self-employment benefit program. So I was teaching a 5-hour marketing session. So that took care of my work and my financial, because it, paid pretty well. After work, I went to the gym. Then I went to visit a client of mine. I was doing the radio show back then, the Small Business Big Idea show. A client of mine his brother passed away. So I went to the wake, which was at a pub. So that was, again, work, but also taking care of my friend, being there in a time where,
Mhm.
he needed that support. And so that then after that, I went for a healthy dinner. I went to Pita Pit for a healthy, pita with all the veggies and chicken. And then I drove home from Whitby. I'm in North York, and I called my sisters just to say hi, see how they're doing. So there's the family, and then when I got home, it was like such a beautiful, complete day.
Yeah.
So what it takes is set your goals, set your intentions. You can do it even daily, uh,
Mhm.
in a journal, and set your intentions. And notice when you're doing the 5 pillars of Swift, when you're living them and you're acting on them, and you're just gonna feel good. Like it's impossible not to feel good when you've taken care of all of those 5 pillars, and maybe even you talked about your big dreams, right? So
Mhm.
yeah, or you've worked on it. Yeah, so it's really be aware, set your intentions, set your goals, and then act, and then just notice how you feel. Yeah.
Yeah, and so do you find that you lie in bed and sort of reflect at the end of the day about your Swift, how your Swift goals or your Swift life process, how it goes at the end of the day?
I'm a morning person.
Okay.
So I do it in the morning. I
Ah,
kind of
I
go through, oh, I did this. So
Okay, so you reflect on
yeah, it-
your previous day in the morning
yeah,
while you're planning out your
yeah.
day for that day.
And I
Okay.
get gratitude. That's my gratitude journal. Like,
Ah,
I'm happy I got to see my friend, or I'm happy that the workshop went well, or, or I, got to speak to my sisters, or, so it's
mm,
whatever it is. Or yeah, I'm happy that I'm thankful that I had the energy to go and have a nice workout, and a nice healthy meal after. Yeah.
mhm. Yeah, I remember you describing I, I think there was at some point that you posted a really powerful personal share many years ago, and I think it was when you started to embrace fitness. And if I'm getting this wrong, I apologize. But there's something that really stands out in my mind where you seem to like really change your lifestyle around. Is that right? Am I getting that right?
Yeah, just being more mindful. For me, it's always a battle. So, but yeah, and then that's the balance, right? Take time to work out or exercise or go for a walk. Take time to get time in the sun, or reading outside, or yeah, really really be conscious about how you're living, and just do it in a healthy, balanced, empowered method, and I guarantee you'll be quite happy, and have really nice success all around. You know.
Absolutely. I find that I'm so much more able to think through my challenges or be creative or, just, how sometimes when you're really trying to push an idea through, like you feel like I have to solve this right now and just nothing is coming. But I just find if you put that aside and then, when you're out on your walk, or on a run or whatever you do to unwind, it's funny how just you're able to think through some of those things that just in the moment, no matter how hard you tried, you just couldn't come up with a way to get through that challenge. But once you allow yourself to relax and unwind and get some fresh air and exercise, it just seems to magically unfold.
Or do you ever notice, like right before you go to bed, or when you take a shower in the morning, you get these ideas like,
Yeah.
"Wow, where did that come from?" You know.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I think we all need to have like a little notebook by our bed or by the shower because yeah, those places where you are can get in touch with your relaxation. Like for me, if I'm feeling really stressed out, I'll often take a shower just because it calms me down. And then yeah, it just makes working through whatever might be stressing you out just that much easier. So for someone who's feeling stuck or unmotivated, what is the first step that you should take in using the Swift system to reignite their passion and create meaningful change as a change maker?
Well, that's a good question. And I'm going to say get a buddy or an accountability partner to
Mm,
work on your chart with you. That's why we're doing First Wednesdays. It's a group where you can come and do it. But get a buddy at least if you can't come to that. Get a buddy and or an accountability partner and create your charts together and then check in at the end of the month. How do we do, right? What are we going to do next month? What do we want to work on? Yeah. And, as life changes, your Swift chart's going to change with it, right?
totally. Yeah. And also when you go through different life occasions where, like, say you have a child or you get married or you divorce or you embark on a new school path or a new career path,
Sure.
everything is going to seem really overwhelming, and that's probably when you need that Swift approach more than ever, would you
Yeah.
say?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. But I find, I don't know if you find this, but if I'm stressed out about something and I'm kind of like spinning my wheels trying to figure it out, I
Hmm.
find once I put an idea or an action or actions on paper, I feel better. It's like,
Okay.
okay, now that's what I can do next, right? That's the action that needs taking care of now, right? And then
Hmm.
we'll take the next action and the next action, and that. So I find that is a very important thing you just raised a point in that when you're stressed, stop, sit down, um, create ideas, actions. What are some next steps to help you keep moving forward and move through this time of maybe having a life that's a little bit unsettled and unsure?
Hmm. Yeah, that is so true. When I'm really feeling overwhelmed, and I have to admit, this week has been a bit crazy. I'm taking a new course through um, the BC government, and it's great. I'm connecting with other women entrepreneurs, and we're focusing on building a resilient framework in business. And what does it mean to thrive and be resilient in business? And the course has been amazing, but being running by the seat of my pants, I didn't realize that it was twice a week. I thought it was once a week, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh no, I have to change this interview out. And but I didn't want to reschedule it because I knew I would enjoy talking to you so much. So
Well, thanks.
so you just take a couple of deep breaths and you say to yourself, you know what, this is just how I'm feeling right now. And while it may feel like a little bit overwhelming, uh, I know I have the skills to get through this, and I will adjust what I need to do to make it happen. And
Yeah.
I did, right?
Yeah.
So there you are. And I have to say, we had a little bit of technical difficulties getting onto this call, and in the past, I probably would have been freaking out, but I just stayed calm and just was like, okay, I'm going to try different things. And eventually, like every IT issue, just rebooting your computer seemed to do the trick, and we were able to proceed. So, just it's amazing when you start to work on your mindset, how you can work through challenges that would have floored you in the past. I wouldn't have been able to think straight. So,
Remember, you can always hit the computer too. That works.
exactly, exactly. Yeah,
It's like the TV. It's not working.
yeah, a little shake.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Uh, so for our change makers that are embarking on starting a business or building a business, I'm sitting here with someone who has so much experience coaching others in entrepreneurship. What are some pieces of advice that you would give them with the Swift philosophy in mind?
Definitely have balance to
Okay.
your work. I read a really wonderful book, and I think I quoted it in the in our book. And the book is by Dan Sullivan from Toronto Strategic Coach and Dr. Benjamin Hardy. And it's called 10 Times is Better Than 2 Times. And in it, they talk about letting go of the things that are holding you back
Mhm.
and just letting them go, and then focusing on the higher profile work, right? The work you love, the clients you want to really work with.
Mhm.
But in the book, towards the end, they talk about scheduling your day, and your work day, and basically they're saying do a work sprint. Work, at it for like 4 or 5 hours, and then stop, take a break, rest. We really need rest right now,
Mhm.
and also re-energize. So go on that walk, go, read a book in the park, or go on your bike. So make sure, so the advice would be live allow time in your day for that, as well as your business work. If you're really effective, you're doing like a work sprint for 5 hours, and you're doing little mini work sprints, and you're getting up to have a break. You can move a lot of ground, and accomplish a lot in that time. If you think, like, I used to work right with the city of Toronto, running
Right.
an entrepreneur program, and I thought of the time that I spent going to the washroom, talking to my colleagues, um, going on a coffee break, whatever. It's like my clock, my work clock was maybe 6 hours instead of 7.5 that I needed to work. Do you know what I mean?
That's
Because
true.
you also had your lunch break and all of that. So I think if you really, first of all, focus, but also allow time for the other elements. Also, the inner game. That's a beautiful way to start your day, and have a practice of journaling, meditating, maybe a little bit of reading, exercise to start your day. Um, that's high performers do that, and
Mhm.
and there's articles about that. So get into really positive, life affirming habits to start your day. Don't just start your day, get up, turn on your phone, turn on the computer, drink a gallon of coffee. you know just like stop and get into your day. Start, calm yourself down, and maybe start with lemon water in the morning, and your
Mm.
morning rituals like prayer, meditation, reading,
Mhm.
exercise. And your day's you're gonna have more energy, you're gonna have more peace, you're gonna have more stamina. And yeah, so that, I think, that would be super important. And then yeah, just setting your goals, like your business goals, and
Yeah.
being clear. And other points are really know yourself, your worth, your value, what you're bringing to the table, and really hone in on um, people you really, and work that you really love to do. And you're a great example of it, working with women and all the amazing programs and services. Look what's come from that. I think
Mm.
it started as a networking group, and now look at what's grown. So start somewhere. Start where your passion is, and now your
Mhm.
new passion is with newcomers, and the DEI initiatives, right? So
Mhm.
brilliant.
Yeah, and yeah, that's interesting. Thank you for allowing me to reflect on that for a moment, because it's true. It's like I always talk about in career coaching transferable skills. And so some of the I mean, gender diversity and helping women uh, to excel in the workplace where they've been marginalized helped me to get into DEI and understand the similarities between being a woman and being a newcomer, and some of these other challenges, or having being neurodiverse or struggling with mental health issues. We all have something. And so if you relate to your challenges as an opportunity to grow as a human, it's so powerful. And so I think that's what it allowed me to do. Gave me being able to help people in a small niche market allowed me to expand and see the similarities of how I could help others that have similar challenges. So
Right. And
yeah.
it came from your own pain and your own, life experience, so you're not only bringing ideas and solutions that you've gone through and used to other people who are now going through it, and then they can use it. So that's the best way, right?
Yeah, totally. Like, well, because like the reason why I started my business was a bit from my own life, my life story, why, like Simon Sinek talks about.
Yeah.
So, like when I was a teenager, my parents owned a resort and it went under. And they had to declare bankruptcy. My father, who's no longer with us, my adopted father, who's no longer with us, had a nervous breakdown. It was a brutal time in our family's history. But from that, and so I was like, there's no way in hell I'm ever going to start a business. Like, that is scary shit. Sorry for the swearing, but
No.
it really was a shitty experience to see people you love go through so much pain. But what I noticed was my stepmother was so strong throughout all of that, so resilient, and so and then I started to look at like my adopted mother, who was a single mom, and my grandmother, whose husband had a stroke, and she was like living on her own, but didn't really have a job, so like she had to pinch every penny, but yet she found the money to support my mom when when my mom wasn't getting child support from my adopted father. And I went through a period of time where I wasn't speaking, or we weren't speaking with him. I was just a child. But then eventually he came back into my life and he started the resort. And so all of those little connections, they were like little kind of like interesting pivots in my life of like, oh, okay, this is how this person reacted to their circumstances. And so it's like, oh, okay, I can see so many mentors of women who in my personal story were strong in the face of great challenge. So why, but I want to help someone like my adopted father who really didn't recover from it. And so that eventually led me to want to be an entrepreneur, because I just couldn't let that memory go. And I needed to make a positive memory from that horrible story. And so I've since done that. And then, it's expanded into, like you said, all these other areas of business. So it's amazing how your personal story can impact your business life. Do you have any like defining moments or childhood moments that led you to where you are today?
Yeah, my love and passion for radio got me started on hosting a weekly radio show for small business for 9 years. Yeah. And,
Ah,
and again, it's like I always had it in me, but it's just sort of, it's like this book. It's like, no, now's the time. Like, go for it.
yeah. So being an author, you mentioned that you've written that
Two
this
other
is
books.
two other books. What are your other book titles?
One is called Bust Out, Ignite Your Inner Entrepreneur, and the other is called The Weekly Three, Three Ways to Turbocharge Your Life and Business.
Oh, amazing. And where can we find those books?
They're both on Amazon.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Well, we'll definitely I'll follow up with you to get the links to those.
Yeah.
So, with that in mind, if one of your Swift life vision goals is to be an author, what advice would you have for us?
Just start. Start right. And don't push it. Like, let it come to you.
Okay.
Right? Like that idea for Swift came to me. I wasn't pushing. I'm going, okay. And when I wrote the other book, The Weekly Three, I would do it on Saturday mornings. That was a quiet time. I'd get a little cup of coffee, some nice jazz going, and then it
Mhm.
just like it flows. So just chip away at it. This book, from the concept of let's write it. So we had to do research and some background work to make it
Right.
happen. From the time we said, yeah, let's write it, to now has been over 2 years. So
Mhm.
give yourself time. Rome wasn't built in a day. And book, just write anything. Doesn't have to be. I just read Geddy Lee from Rush. I read his autobiography this summer, 508 pages. Doesn't have to be like that. It
Yeah.
could be a 20-page ebook. Just
Right.
just write and put it down in your Swift chart. This week I'm going to write another chapter. Next week,
Mhm.
next month, I'm going to write another chapter. I'm going to send it out to my friends to read and give comments on. So just get into action around it. That's
Yeah.
the key is action. Look at you. You took action. And what was really important is that you experienced a mess, but you took your mess and now you're blasting other
I
people.
love that. Can I use that? I love that. That's a great.
Well, I gotta give kudos to Barry Spilchuk.
Oh, okay.
He gave me that.
That's a good
Turn your
one.
mess into a bless. So
Turn your mess into a bless.
yeah,
Okay.
you've done
Thank
that,
you, Jerry.
right?
That's a good one. That's a really good one. So we'll start to wrap up now.
Yeah, this was great.
Yeah. Oh, I've so enjoyed this. It's always a pleasure to chat with
Yeah,
you.
you too, Lee.
Thank you.
I wish
So,
I was a woman. I'd join your group.
well, it's not just for women now. We're about change makers. So, yeah, so we have changed our business model, for SEO reasons and whatnot, and also because we're on a lot of government directories for Women in Biz Network. I don't really want to mess with that, but our membership is gender neutral, so you can be male, female, trans, any however you identify, as long as you're a change maker you're welcome to join the membership and access being able to promote your business or yourself as a personal brand, add to the business directory, and get support and participate in live streams like this with you. So you are part of our community. You just don't know
Okay. All
it.
right. Thanks. Thanks.
And we'll definitely try to get some information about your Wednesday events and add it to our calendar because
Oh yeah.
there's only so much of me to go around, and so I am looking to collaborate with others that are offering amazing opportunities for our community to get the support that they need. So I'm sure we can collaborate on that. But we always end the show with three items that you can do to take action based off of everything that we've learned in this great interview. So, what are your three action items for our listeners?
Get in a nice, comfortable headspace.
Okay.
um, Sit down with a journal and look at your whole life and what is it that you want to create, like one thing in your social, your work, your business, your work, your inner, your financial, you're taking care of, and your big dreams. So just put it out there. What do you want to create? What's in your heart? What brings you joy? And those would be the three things. Examine, where do you want to start in terms of the overall game plan, what's in your heart to do, and what brings you joy.
Mm, that's great. Um, I want to join in on one of your planning sessions so that I can create my own Swift chart. So I'm looking forward to this. Is just the beginning.
So October, because it's Halloween,
Yes.
we have my colleague David Fairweather, who's wrote a book on goal setting and mindset, and we're going to talk about creating goals that scare you. Ooh.
Oh, I need that because I'm about to take. I am like launching big. I'm all in now. I'm all in, David. So that's awesome. So, what day is that? Do you have?
We normally do it the first Wednesday of the month, but this October I'm going to be out of town teaching, so we're
Okay,
just deferring October's to the second Wednesday, the 9th of October,
the 9th of October.
from
Perfect.
7 to 8:30. Yeah,
Okay, excellent. So we'll get that out on our calendar so that people can participate in this Swift
yeah.
process.
And everybody, it's a pay what you can, so whatever you can afford, because of things are interesting right now, economic.
Yeah. Mhm.
But you all get a Swift chart for yourself to use and keep. Yeah.
Excellent. That sounds wonderful. Okay, and maybe we can plan a Swift planning session for our community, like maybe co-facilitate something and
Yeah.
together. I would love that.
Yeah.
Um, so, how's the best way for people to get in touch with you? And is there any last parting words of wisdom or anything else you'd like to share before we say goodbye?
Yeah. Website is yourbigventure.com.
Okay.
Email is dcohen@yourbigventure. I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook. And parting words of wisdom. It's been in my heart for a little bit now. Cut out the noise. Like
Mm.
the news, the debate the other night. Cut it out. Cut it. Like even your YouTube channel that you like to watch stuff on. Cut it out. Try it for a week. Go on a news fast, or or whatever. Not even a news fast. Just go. Neville Goddard, author, speaker from the '70s, amazing man. Go on a mental diet, or a news fast, or a media fast for a week. Try it for a week, and just get quiet. Be in your own space. Listen to your own inner wisdom, your own voice. Meditate, journal. Sit outside in the sun and get some rays on you. That would be my inner wisdom. Like, and I'm doing it for myself. And believe me, I have a hard time because I love information. And I like to know, and it's like, you know what? I'm tired. I need a break. I need to go within and really see what's inside. I think, and that's where we're moving to. It's like success isn't out there. Success is in here.
Oh my gosh, I need that big time. I'm a bit of a news junkie,
Yeah.
David, and so yeah, I tend to overconsume information just because I can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
But you're right, it can drain you, and it keeps you from moving your body and restoring yourself. But one thing I did, I'll just end with my little tip, uh,
Okay.
is that I'm following your advice. One thing I do on the way to work is I generally on the way to work is I drive in silence.
Mm,
And it just makes me feel so less revved up by the time I get to school, and I need to be calm and present. So that's my little take on your thing. I don't listen to the radio. Don't listen to podcasts. Nothing. It's just silence, and it really helps me to ground myself for the workday. So
excellent. I love it. Yeah.
yeah.
Get quiet more. That would be it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's what did you call it? A mental diet?
Yeah. Mental Diet by author, speaker Neville Goddard.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that one out. Sounds great.
Yeah.
All
He
right.
teaches you how to manifest.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you're an avid reader and you've gotten some great wisdom, and of course you're a writer yourself. So do check out David's books. We'll be posting them, and your new book is coming out in, you said,
We
early
hope by October, early October. Yeah.
early October. So when you have the book available, we'll add that to the show notes. We'll just revise the show notes for those that listen in the future. So thank you, change makers. Thank you, David. It's been a wonderful, wonderful Empower Hour with you. You're lovely. It's